During the Mugello Grand Prix, one thing you might have noticed is that Lewis Hamilton was being an activist. The front of his shirt was saying that arrest the cops that killed Breonna Taylor. So Breonna Taylor is a lady that was killed in her home when the police raided her apartment. And apparently her boyfriend shot at the police, and then the police retaliated in shooting. Well, because the police never knocked. They never knocked. They just apparently just entered the residence, and because in the U.S. you are allowed to have legally registered firearms, and then you're allowed to shoot. So if somebody's breaking into your residence, so they never, apparently they said they never announced themselves, so just broke in and just so that's why he shot. So Breonna Taylor was killed during that no-knock police raid, and the cops are now arrested. So Lewis Hamilton had that saying, the front of his shirt, arrest the cops that killed Breonna Taylor, and the picture of her in the back, and at the bottom it says, say her name. So that's what, yeah. So he was being an activist. Some in the Formula One community might mind that, because recently there was criticism towards Lewis Hamilton from Mario Andretti, saying that he's been accepted into the fold, so he doesn't need to be a militant, he doesn't need to be an activist because he's been accepted, and there's none of that going on in Formula One, no, especially in the racing community, no prejudice in the racing community. And also there was criticism attributed to Helmut Marko that was then attributed to somebody else. So it was thought that Helmut Marko also criticized Lewis Hamilton, and then they attributed the criticism to somebody else, another journalist, which was not Helmut Marko, but I don't know who was. All that said, me personally, I don't think that a Formula One team or any racing team will decide to purposely not choose a driver of color just because of his race. You know, I think from me watching racing, I believe all the teams will make a decision solely on performance. So Mario Andretti is right in saying that there's none of that going on in the racing community. So, but even though there's none of that going on in the racing community, Lewis Hamilton has an amazing platform. He's at the top of his game, so he has an amazing platform that almost no one else has. No other person of his color has. Well, he's mixed, but still he's considering himself black, so he has an amazing platform that no one else has. So he doesn't want to wake up one day and say, I had this amazing platform, there's no one else like me doing what I'm doing. You do have Bubba Wallace in NASCAR, but Bubba Wallace doesn't have the same cachet Lewis Hamilton has. He's not a champion right now. He's not going to be an all-time great like Lewis Hamilton will be at the end of his Formula One career. He just doesn't have the same platform that Lewis Hamilton has. So Lewis Hamilton, he will be an all-time great. So right now, he's at the peak of his career. So this is an amazing platform for him to use to advance his views. So this is what he's doing. So Lewis Hamilton has an amazing platform he might never have again. He doesn't want to wake up one day and just say, I had this amazing platform and I didn't use it to advance my views, to advance something that is very dear to me. So I don't think he's doing the activism to say that Formula One is bad, Formula One is unfair, but he's doing the activism, he's using his platform to advance other views beyond Formula One, because he has transcended Formula One. He's not just a Formula One driver, he's more than a Formula One. I mean, why do you think I follow Formula One? I mean, Lewis Hamilton is beyond that. And even Toto Wolff has said that. Toto Wolff has said that they have the driver who has brought the most diversified driver, who has brought the most diversity to the sport. And they do have that. So Mercedes has that. They have the person who has brought the most diversity to the sport in probably maybe forever. I mean, if you're wondering why I'm following Formula One, why I'm following racing, I began following racing in 2007, and that was a direct correlation to when Lewis Hamilton came to Formula One. And before that, I had heard about a driver in GP2, a mixed driver in GP2, and that was going to be the next big thing. And that's when I picked up on it. I'm like, let me see what this is all about. And that's it. That started from there. So now I follow all type of racing, NASCAR, everything. I follow everything. I don't talk about everything on my YouTube channel, but I follow everything. So Lewis Hamilton has this amazing platform. So, and he's going to use it, and it makes sense for him to use it. But I appreciate that Mercedes let him use, you know, because they could just say, you cannot have that, you cannot do that, because you gotta buy it. It seems like Mercedes are giving him a lot of freedom to do that. Well, because they paint the car all in black. So in response to Mario Andretti's criticism that the black overall, the car painting the car in black is not going to do anything, but that's wrong, because it's going to make people aware that this is something is happening. When all these big companies get beyond something like this, it makes people aware, and people start to realize that something's going on. Especially even in the U.S. when there was the civil rights, a lot of companies were going by that. Even in advertising, some companies were encouraging discrimination. They were encouraging stereotypes. So, and it made people even more aware. So Mario Andretti saying that it's not going to do anything, that's completely false, because people watch the cars, people watch Formula One, and people know that, wow, if this large multinational companies is making us aware of this, this is something we're going to pay attention to. And Lewis Hamilton has this platform, so he's going to use it. So it's not related to racing, and it could be considered political in nature, which Formula One forbids, but I think he has that liberty to do that. He has the liberty to do that. He has the liberty to use his platform to do that. And I think he's not going to stop, and he shouldn't stop. So he should keep doing it and make people aware that this something is going on, and he's part of that group that's being treated this way. So I think that's what he wants to let people know.